Hi there, Virgos. Welcome to your tarot reading. When I was shuffling out the spread, I have a very I got a very interesting series of images. So the scene that I'm looking at is, it seems almost like an Asian culture. So I don't, it seems like it could be Japanese, but I can't really say for certain. But I see this man. He's wearing like some type of a traditional wedding outfit. Okay, so he has a hat, and he's on a bridge, and then on the like really close to him, about I don't know 2 meters in front of him is like his bride. She's beautiful. She's got her head covered. She's wearing a red dress. And then right behind her, so he's by himself on one side, and they're like cherry blossoms. I thought it could be Japanese, but I don't think it's Japanese. But anyways, so he's on one side by himself, and then he's holding like a little gift basket or a little gift, a little present for his bride. And then the bride is like 2 feet in front of him, and he's right behind her is her entire family, like her mom, her dad, her uncle, cousins, sisters, siblings, their children. It was just a lot of people. And so he's trying to, walk 2 feet or 2 meters over to his bride. And then the family kind of intercepts. And then they shake his hands and they tell him, she likes this type of food, so you make sure that you cook her this type of food. And then the mom shakes his hand and then she leaves. And then the dad comes up and then he goes, she likes to do these extracurricular activities, so make sure you take her to the movies, blah blah blah. And then he leaves, and then her sister comes up. So it goes on and on and on and on. And in the meantime, the guy, he just wants to take his bride home. But there's this whole string of people, there's a whole string of expectations along with those people, and the image just kind of cuts out, so you never see the end where he actually come forward and see and takes his bride's hand and leads her away. So that's what I'm seeing. So first of all, that whole theme is definitely showing up here in this spread. Okay, so the card that really stood out for me is this one, interference. Okay, this deck is a little bit non-traditional. It's the Thoth deck. And funnily enough, this was gifted to me by a Virgo. So we have here the Eight of Swords. It's a situation where you feel very, very stuck and you don't know what to do. Okay, there are too many thoughts racing in your head because the Sword of Suit, the Suit of Swords, excuse me, is all about being stuck in a situation. There are too many thoughts, too many things that we don't really have certainty over. We don't really have control over, and we feel like we don't have control over a situation. So in the traditional Rider-Waite deck, it's the woman. She's kind of blindfolded, she's tied up, and she's surrounded by swords. She can't really figure her way out of a situation because the thoughts that she has in her head regarding where do I go? How is it going to unfold? How is everything going to look like? All of those things are kind of like scaring her into making a decision. So that's what I feel is happening here. But the card specifically, it's interference. There is a situation here where you feel very emotionally compelled to do something, but you're not really sure if that's the right thing for you. I see you very passionate about something, very emotionally invested in something. And you're just like, I really want to, Virgos, you guys are really, really cautious by nature. You guys are very methodical by nature, and you mull things over and over and over and over again before you make a decision. So I feel like there's something that's really tugging or pulling at your heartstrings. It's like you have an emotional response to a situation. You don't know why you do, and that is exactly why you don't trust it. And I feel for some of you, this could be a love situation where you are emotionally just very compelled and drawn and magnetically, pulled towards another person. There's no rhyme or reason for it. And that's why you don't trust it. I feel like for others of you, this is kind of like a new venture. This is something that you feel is going to be really emotionally fulfilling for you. It could be a new voyage, it could be a new journey, but I almost feel like it's a situation where you're emotionally pulled towards something, even though there are a lot of other people that might be telling you, no, don't go for it. It doesn't make sense. Or don't go for it. I don't see you doing it, Virgo. They're telling you, like, that's not really you. And then you're just like, but who are you to tell me what's for me or what I should go for? And so I feel like there's a lot of people in your environment giving you advice that might not be appropriate. And they're doing it not in a way to undermine you. They're trying to be helpful and they're trying to give you advice based on their perception of you, okay? Based on everything that you've done in the past, especially if you have been very, very overly cautious. If you have also, kept a lot of things inside where you kind of, go to work, show a happy face, but inside you might not feel emotionally happy. You might be in a relationship where you're just like going through the motions, doing your due diligence to be a good partner, to be a good mother, to be a good father, to maintain the relationship. And then people from the outside looking in, they see you as this pillar of stability and strength. And they're just like, oh, that's Virgo. And then the moment that you become impulsive because you're drawn towards something that is like emotionally just pulling you, they're just like, that's out of character for you, Virgo. So what they're saying in their defense is almost like they're giving you, based on their perception of you, based on their knowledge of you, they feel like you're behaving out of character, or they feel like you're pursuing something in a very impulsive manner, and they don't know why you're doing it, and they feel like they should intercept or at least interfere in the situation and give you kind of like their assessment, because they feel like you're doing something that is out of character. But I feel like from your end, like I said, you guys plan things really well. You guys mull things over before you take action. And so I feel like if it's something that's really emotionally, you're drawn to it, and you're not one to act erratically, maybe this is something for you to explore regardless of what other people are saying, because what they're telling you, I don't feel like it's appropriate. Okay? We know intuitively what's good for us. And I also know as well that you know what's good for you. You mull decisions over. You guys are not impulsive. And so if there is an unexplainable pull towards something, explore it. Okay? Don't be so risk adverse that you're just like, nah, that's not me. I'm just gonna let it sit there. And yet time and time again you keep thinking about it. You keep like it keeps replaying in your mind. It keeps popping up in your thoughts, and you're just like, why does it keep doing this? It's because it needs to be explored. So whatever the situation is, just imagine the scenario and imagine in your mind, if you have it in the palm of your hands, what does that look like? And then on the other hand, just imagine if you had to decline it, if you had to push it away, how is that going to make you feel? Because I feel like you're conflicted. And I feel like, you're also doing a lot of things based on what other people are expecting of you, which might not be the ideal situation for anybody, let alone a Virgo, because you spend your whole life bending over backwards for other people because you guys are very kind. You don't want to hurt anybody. But at the same time, I also feel like there's this, it's almost like a savior complex, okay? It's something that you're doing unintentionally, but it's almost like you want to be of service to other people. You want to be helpful in all situations. And I also feel like a lot of that help needs to be directed at you, not because you need help, but a lot of that being of service, a lot of that help, a lot of that helpfulness, and a lot of that meticulousness as well as thoughtfulness needs to be directed at yourself so that you're less harsh on yourself and so that you can start making decisions that make you happy without feeling guilty. Okay? Don't feel guilty for the things that bring us pleasure, and especially don't feel guilty if you are drawn to something, explore it, regardless of what other people might say. So that is going to, be different for the different people who are watching. I also feel as well there is a situation here where you are definitely in love with somebody, and I feel like there is a lot of external forces, possibly other people that are, of course, interfering in the relationship. So going back to that image that I saw, the man wants to take his bride home. He's in love with her, therefore he married her, and then he's like bombarded with all these expectations, all these social and cultural norms, or like the people and just their expectations of him. It's almost like he can't catch a break, and that's what I feel is happening for you guys. You want to just, just be. You want to just exist. You want to just do whatever makes you happy. But there are so many other people that you feel are dependent on you. There are so many people that are coming to you and like needing your help, needing you to troubleshoot, needing you to put out fires, needing you to clean up their mess as well. And if they're not the people you love, if they're not family, if they're not your significant other, if they're not, somebody like children or pets that can't take care of themselves, then it makes sense to take care of them and to clean up the mess and to, make sure they're okay. But these are grown people. They need to learn to, be self-sufficient. And so it's not really your place to come dash in every time there's a problem, okay? Learn to sit back a little bit. Learn to kind of like let people clean up their own mess. Learn to let people troubleshoot on their own. Learn to allow people to be self-sufficient, okay? So that's what I'm feeling here. I feel like for some of you, there is potentially an air sign, an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra. And I feel like this is somebody who's very, very confused, who's very lost. They don't have a mentor. They don't have guidance. They don't have a sense of direction as to, it's like somebody who's like a buoy. A buoy? Is that the... Yeah, that's the right word. It's the thing that, it's made of styrofoam or it's hollow and it floats on the water. So it'll rise with the tide and then it'll sink with the low tide. It's somebody who's kind of adrift and just kind of aimless. Their life kind of meanders. They go with the wind, and they're not overly ambitious. I also feel like there's a lot of just internal struggles with this person. It's somebody who's lacking in direction. And I feel like over and over and over and over again, you come to this person's rescue. This is your energy giving tribute, helping out, giving love and support and inspiration to the other person. And I feel like, this is the month where they are going to have to come into their own senses, and they are going to need to kind of like make decisions on their own. So don't enable this type of energy. Let them find their true path. Let them kind of lift themselves out of their own funk, because I feel like you're like the tide. When you're rushing in, that buoy, it floats up, it's elated, it's happy. And then when you're low, the tide is low. So I feel like somebody is depending on you to do this for them all the time. And you might really care about this person and you do this for them all the time. And I feel like it's taking a lot of your energy, and this is something that might not be healthy, okay? Aside from that, what I have here, I have a really good card that basically indicates your hard work is going to pay off. And so I feel like, that message is so generic, but I'm sensing that there is a situation here where you might be in a position where you want to maintain the peace. Okay, this is a really soft, smooth. This is Knight of Cups. In this deck is actually the King of Cups. We don't have the kings in the Thoth deck, so this is actually the King of Cups. So I feel like you want people to be jolly and happy, and you want like harmony. Okay, so for many of you, you might be a little bit more on the Libra side, like late degree Virgo, almost like near the Libra cusp. You might have a lot of planets in Libra. You want to maintain the peace. You want people to be happy, and you want everybody to get along. And then I also feel like, you don't express your needs and your wants and your opinions because you might like be overly catering to following the herd. And there's a situation here where you have some really good ideas, Seven of Wands, and you have to fight for your ideas, okay? And I do sense as well your ideas are going to be very well received. And I feel like you kind of we need to kind of stand behind our ideas, own up to them, as well as fight for them. So that's where I feel like there's a situation coming in here where people are interfering, telling you what to do, or people are telling you like a course of action is not the right way to go. And I feel like no matter what, you don't even need to fight for it, but you just need to stand by what you believe, okay? There is as well a situation possibly in the work environment. Seven of Pentacles, this is like a pentacle suit, so usually work-related situation that is not really bringing you passion anymore. This card, it looks like everything looks very dead. Everything looks very gray, and everything looks just, this is not a good place for you to be in. In opposition to that, we have Seven of Wands. Whereas this is all dark and somber, this is all passion and like new passion and new excitement. So I feel like, we can swap one for the other. If you don't want this, there's something that's going to be coming into the picture. You're going to be victorious. You're going to fight for it. And I feel like you are going to be able to possess this and exchange it for this situation. Okay. There is a little bit of a wait. So I would say possibly about 7 weeks time. That is going to take us into, let me see, the March, March time frame. So we're not in February yet. So I would say the very last week of March, there's something that is stuck in suspension here with the Hangman. And if it's a work situation, a work project, a work situation, some type of money that's coming into the picture, it is tax season too. So for those who are filing early, I feel like something is hung up, a decision is hung up until the late March time frame. Okay. So the last thing that I do want to talk about here is I want to talk about your love life just a little bit. So let me talk about an air sign because once again, Knight of Swords, King of Swords, okay? The Knight of Swords in this deck, but in the traditional deck, is the King of Swords. Air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. And it's linked up here with the Tower. If you are dealing with an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, there's going to be a big argument coming into the picture here. And I feel accusatory energies coming through from this person. I feel like they want some answers. They want you to make a decision. They want some answers, as well as they want some type of they feel like you might be keeping things from them. Okay. So I do see if this is like a serious relationship partner, there's going to be a serious disagreement. Where are we living? Where is this relationship going? Who's supposed to take care of this responsibility? Who's supposed to take care of that? Where were you? Who were you with? So I see a lot of that energy coming through. And in a way, yes, they are very aggressive, but they're very truthful and they're very articulate. So I feel as if they just want straightforward answers. The way that they go about it might be, accusatory, might be just aggressive. And I do sense that, they're, unfortunately, I feel like there's some validity to what they're saying. There might be some, it's almost like they're justified in why they are asking you these questions. Okay. If you are sharing space with this person, if you're sharing resources with this person, especially, if you live together, even, there will be discussions about responsibilities, what's fair and what's not, who's doing this, who's doing that. How are things getting divvied up? Are things fair? Who owns what? Like where do it's almost like boundaries. So if you're sharing money, if you have the same joint account, there might have been some big expenditures and they're like, why was this money withdrawn? What did you use it for? Or things like that. So I definitely feel some serious discussions, possibly even, like a little bit of an argument, but their energy is coming in. I feel like they're very truthful, very honest, but the way that they come at you, it might not be the softest. Okay. They're very aggressive. And I feel like there's some justification to their anger. So that's what I'm sensing here. I also feel like, the beginning message about family interfering, that could also be a situation where the two of you, might be dating and then there are other things that are interfering with the relationship. The ways in which you're brought up. One person could be very neat, the other person could be extremely messy. Family, cultural, social expectations. One person might be very traditional and the other person is like very eccentric. Okay. So I feel like, for example, one person might be like, okay, let's raise our kids this way because your religion or values mean it, it's important to me. And then the other person's all like, no, I don't really want to do that. So I definitely see some very big jarring ideological differences affecting the relationship or even people meddling in the relationship. But I feel like it's more family. It's not so much third party, things like that. But I feel like it's more family. Okay. And then on the other hand, if you're dealing with a fire sign, I have here the Page of Wands. This is somebody, wow. So I'm sorry, not Pisces. Leo, Sagittarius, Aries. This is somebody who's really, really, really interested in you. I feel like they will literally follow you to the end of the earth. Okay, wherever you go, they're like, okay, they're very spontaneous, but I feel like they carry a torch for you, a very big torch for you. They really, really like you, Virgos. And then I'm also feeling like they probably will say something like this or will think it. Wherever you go, I'm going to follow you. And as long as I have you, I'm happy. And I feel like they mean it. This is someone who's quite popular. I feel quite popular, love animals. They have a really, really sweet heart. Very honest, very truthful, passionate and fiery. So, they're not like the most, they're not conflict avoidant. And especially when they feel something, they feel the need to express it. And I feel like this is a person that will really, 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 like, they will follow you to the end of the earth. I feel like they might have gotten out of a relationship where their love was taken for granted, or they were with somebody who was quite controlling. And in a weird way, this person feels that, control is love. Okay. So they were in some type of a relationship where they were like under somebody else's control. And now they're breaking free. And I feel like they want to go for forward with you. I also feel like they like you. They might be in the process of dumping somebody that they're with in order to move ahead with you. And then I also feel if you're already in a relationship with this fire sign, there's a lot of travel, a lot of movement. As a couple, the two of you are able to get a lot of success. There might also be work interfering with your relationship here with this fire sign. So, for example, work is taking them somewhere else, far away from where you're living, or your work is taking you somewhere else, far from where they're living. So I feel like there's a little bit of a choice, decisions, and things like that wedging itself in between your relationship. But I feel with the fire sign, it is very passionate. With the air sign, there is a lot of passion too. There's a lot of love, but there's also a lot of misunderstandings and a lot of frustration in this situation coming through from them, and they want some answers. That's what it feels like to me. So let me see if there's anything else here. I feel like it's like 0 to 60. The people that you're dealing with, oh my gosh, they're so unpredictable and they're so passionate. They go from 0 to 60. So it could be this fire sign and this air sign. It's like they have really strong likes and dislikes. When they dislike something, they absolutely hate it. And then when they love something, they love it to death. There's very little, like, I'm seeing a spectrum, like just very broad spectrum, yes or no. And then I'm also seeing somebody going from 0 to 60 really, really fast. And it's like that emotional moderation is not there when it comes to your partner. And so, it's not surprising to me that a lot of earth signs are drawn to a lot of very fiery, passionate people, mainly because you're kind of like that anchor for these people. But at the same time, just be careful about that. Okay, they're emotionally just very wound up. I'm gonna leave it at that. Okay, Virgos, I hope the reading is helpful. I do wish you all the best.